Absolum was one of the best roguelite games of 2025. Actually, one of the best games in 2025, period. The Threads of Fate patch just released on February 12th, 2026. And whether you're jumping back in or playing it for the first time, I'm going to cover what's new with the patch and why it's the best version of this game yet. The first thing I wanted to mention right away is the general confusion that seems to be surrounding this patch. So when you first boot up the game after the patch, you'll get into your hub area and it'll look like there really hasn't been any update at all. But just like everything in this game, any of the new features or unlocks, you have to actually go into a run itself and progress through the game. And these things will organically unlock as you progress through the run. The three biggest and most important updates that this patch brings are the Mystic Ordeals, the Corrupted Regions, and the new Soul Tree unlock tiers. The Mystic Ordeals is basically a fancy word for preset and custom run modifiers in this game. As he has done countless times before, that weird one-eyed cyborg rat squid looking guy that magically shows up during the runs, he'll appear again and he'll unlock the Mystic Ordeals. So once he shows up in your run, you can then go back to your hub area and walk down the stairs and then go over and talk to him. And he'll give you a little bit of a spiel about what you're going to do with the Threads of Fate, and then it'll open up a menu full of these Mystic Ordeals. When you're looking through the Mystic Ordeals, at first you'll only have a few unlocks. You'll have to actually activate these Mystic Ordeal run modifiers and then run through a complete run. Since this video is intended for both new and returning players to the game, I don't want to do any spoilers, so I'll just say that in order to unlock more of these Mystic Ordeals, you have to get a complete run through the game with the modifier activated. For you returning players, you should know exactly what that is, and for you new players, you'll find out as you progress through the game. I mostly played this game with my son in local co-op, and we've been able to beat two of the Mystic Ordeals so far, the Legion Ordeal and the Sacrifice Ordeal. For the Legion Ordeal, it's really cool because the enemies are ultra aggressive and you see 3 times as many of them, but they only have a quarter of their life. So it gets really chaotic with all the enemies on the screen. The other one, the Sacrifice Ordeal, is another unique and interesting one because the Arcana costs, your magical abilities in the game, they take life instead of using up a mana bar. But in return, you have a percentage player lifesteal. So it balances itself out. The high enemy aggression and the high damage ones are by far my favorite. There are some other ordeals where you have less physical damage or ritual damage, but you might have really high punish damage as an example. But I didn't find these near as fun to play. The most interesting one, I have to say by far, is the Bonded Fate Ordeal, which essentially turns friendly fire on, and if one of you die, you both end up dying, and your run is ended. I thought this one really changed the way you had to play. With friendly fire on, it's so much harder, and you have to think about what you are doing as well as your co-op partner so you can avoid that damage from them. These really provide a wide variety in the runs and really makes this game a lot more interesting because each ordeal you have to change the way you play. Next up are the Corrupted Regions, which are signified by the purple icons on the maps or the purple glow for the entrance to the next region. It's really cool because these are high risk, high reward areas where you go against more difficult enemies, but you get more rituals and often more leveled up ones. What's great is these are totally optional, so you can either avoid them like the plague or choose to take them head on. These can feel really rewarding though if you do get through them, because the power fantasy you feel coming out on the other side is crazy. The third important new feature are the new Soul Tree unlock tiers. Just like unlocking more of the Mystic Ordeals, you have to complete runs with Mystic Ordeal modifiers to unlock these extra tiers of the Soul Tree. These are really important because you can unlock other options for your own custom Mystic Ordeal modifiers that you can set up to play exactly how you want to. And this is where you'll be unlocking everything else that is part of this Threads of Fate patch. One of these features are the elite mounts. They give you a percentage chance for mounts to appear as more powerful versions. So you can go from a small warthog to a raging Pumbaa, from a raptor transformed into a T-Rex, and some creature that looks like what a Demogorgon from Stranger Things would ride into battle on. What my son refers to as the tickle monsters, because its tentacles look like they're tickling the enemies. Mounts become pretty important in the harder to win Mystic Ordeals because they give you a chance to take a little breather. Riding mounts allow you to do damage without your character taking any damage. These elite mounts can really pile it on. What's not to love about that? The other powerful feature is the Inspiration Start. So Inspirations and Absolum are really powerful upgrades that enhance your character's abilities, unlock new moves, or add unique mechanics to them. By not leaving it to chance during your runs, you can start out with your favorite inspiration, and once you unlock enough tiers in the soul tree, up to 3 of them. This is a massive damage boost at the start of the run, and something to build on more as you progress into the later stages. You'll first find the Inspiration Start in the 5th new tier unlock of the soul tree. On to the more straightforward and minor features of the patch. There's some new skins and emotes that are available through the soul tree unlocks for all the 4 characters. This will let you spice it up a bit more to give your character a new color palette and some new emotes to choose from. There's a boss rush mode now, so this is another feature of the patch that allows you to do exactly that, but that's not really my jam. However, I wanted to mention it because it may be for some of you guys. There's now a soul tree stat summary, which is nice because it allows you to see all your stats that you've gotten from the soul tree tier unlocks. There's also an optional damage number display now that you can toggle on the damage numbers from the menu if you like seeing how big you can get that number to go. It's a nice little feature to give you a better idea how much damage you're actually doing. And then the final thing are the balance and bug fixes. There were quite a few balance and bug fixes in this patch, but one big thing I wanted to mention is all enemies' life pools and multiplayer were decreased. This is actually a big one to mention here because it was a big gripe with the players. Before the patch, when playing in single player, it was so much easier than multiplayer. Multiplayer was way too punishing. But now, after the patch, it feels much more similar to how the single player experience was. If you're still on the fence about picking this game up, or if you're just looking for an awesome build to play around with, why don't you check out some tidal wave action in my previous Absolum build video. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep on gaming.